What's up, everyone? This is Frobomb. I'm going to be doing kind of a half review, half 1cc guide for Namco's Dangerous Seed, which is an arcade shmup from 1989. I believe it was their last arcade game of the 80s, if Wikipedia is to be believed. Um, None of this is gospel. It's just kind of my experience playing through this game. There's not a ton of info out there about Dangerous Seed. It is seemingly like underappreciated in my view. After spending some time with it, I really like it, and I guess I'll get into why. These first couple levels are decently easy. So if there's something that survival wise or like strategy wise that comes up, I'll pop in to say that. But I'll just talk about like the basics of this game for right now. So you see those ship icons down on the left. You have three different ships that you can kind of go through in the first four stages of this game. The problem is that if you're playing it seriously for survival, what happens in stage 4 is all of the ships that survive through the first half of the game combine to make this big ship that proceeds to the end of the game. So if you lose even one of them, your big ship from stage 4 onward is kind of severely underpowered, and so it just makes no sense to lose a ship and continue on if you're trying for a 1cc. So basically, as cool as it is that like these three ships have three different shot types, three different bombs, they're called unique things. As cool as an idea as that is, it's kind of a design flaw because the ideal way to play the game is just to not engage with it at all and just keep your like alpha ship, which is what I have going here through through the end of stage 4. So you'll notice that also I have a little health bar. That's there. There's three little ticks. That brings up another unique kind of aspect of the game. You might think, oh, a health bar, that's pretty generous. If eat three ships with three health bars each, like how hard is that going to be? Well, this game is kind of rough in that there are 0 iframes to be had, whether bombing or, oh, you see I got a little pill there that just like says, oh, tired of this level, let's get to the boss. I'll pause for a moment to talk about strategy for this. You'll see I just kind of let a bomb go there and stayed to the right. That's a good way to kind of get through that little kind of tough section before the boss. And then I sat in the kind of cradle between them and then bombed to easily take out one of their pinchers each, and that leaves them kind of vulnerable to just getting destroyed from below. Pretty simple stuff, but maybe tough if you're not kind of if you don't really know like the kind of vibe of this game, which I would describe the vibe of this game as like you want to be kind of chill when playing it. You want to keep your movements smooth or small whenever possible, because like flailing around is going to get you clipped by something, by a bullet like that would have passed you otherwise, but you like kind of slid into it because you're just like being too panicky. It does involve in that sense a fair amount of memorization, like just learning the feel of the stages so that you know kind of when to be on the left, when to be on the right, how to kind of navigate these like swarms of enemies that may initially seem like they're really tough to deal with because like again you have such little room for error with the iframes, but once you learn it, it's not that bad. Stay to the right here. So yeah, the philosophy is overall just like keep your cool. See, here I'm trying to keep my cool and just micro dodge the pattern. Hitbox is pretty small in this game, impressively so for the time, in my opinion. And just by like not flailing around and like just that thing shoots all these like green globs at you. If you just kind of ignore them and just stay cool and micro dodge its regular bullets, you can. And I think I bombed a couple times. You can get through it pretty simply. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is there are a bunch of health resources in this game. Not only do you have 3 lives, but or 3 hits per ship, but we're just using 1 ship, so 3 hits. Every stage has multiple health items. The orange ones give you a couple, or rather in this first half of the game, they give you 1 tick, and then the blue pills that we just got there, that's going to like refill your health bar to the top, which is very generous. Again, these systems may be compensating for the brutal lack of iframes. So I was talking about the iframes before and got a little bit distracted. To kind of clarify what happens when you get hit, it's like literally every frame that your hitbox is colliding with an enemy hitbox or a bullet, you're going to take damage. So basically, if you run into anything bigger than a pea-sized bullet, you're screwed. That's just all your health gone. And that applies in this section where all of our ships are going to combine into this giant ship. You'll see we have like I haven't counted the ticks. It's like a 12 tick health bar, and which seems really generous at first. That can go very quickly if you run into something that's larger than one of those tiny bullets like you see there. Like those will take maybe 1 or 2, but if you run into anything bigger, it's just like you're sitting on that thing for multiple frames. Your health bar is going to crash, and I'm sure that happens to me here because I think I ended this run with like 2 things of health left, which is not ideal, not great. As you can see, like the 3 shot types, that those little ships in the beginning, they all differentiate. They combine here, so you have the straight shot, the circles that kind of like swirl around and home, and then these V shots that go in a triangular formation. I haven't talked about bomb pickups. That seems fairly self-explanatory. The bombs are much more powerful in the second half of the game. They basically act like real shoot 'em up bombs, where they cancel bullets. They do massive AOE damage, and yeah, that guy just dies with 1 bomb in his face. He just dies with like a few hits to his face after that. So like not a hard boss. This level is the frickin', like, this is where your runs go to die. This is the hardest part of the game for me after I practiced the ending stage a fair bit. I still, like, this is where most of my frustration was had. It's just a lot of streaming and moving from side to side. These bullets move pretty quickly. Those bullets from those little enemies, by the way, they're aimed, but they split. And so if you were to stay still, I don't think they would hit you. Anyway, these guys, this is where it sucks. Like, you kind of have to stay up on the screen to not get too far into a corner, because these shots come fast enough that they will just, like, wreck you. Get that health to make up for whatever health you might have lost, and then immediately you face this gauntlet of shit that you kind of have to just move from right to left to cancel. Let's see. This guy, you bomb once there, and kind of like, I think these little like jellyfish things or crabs are RNG. You have to kind of just sight dodge them. This pattern, his little other arm cannon, is something I practiced for a good while to get down. But if you can get through one sequence of that, the little crabs are relatively easy to dodge, and you only deal with one set of those like red bullets, and then you kill them. Let's see. This is harder. I'll say, because I'm finding it difficult. This game moves at a very fast pace, and it's harder than I thought to like talk through the strategy in real time, because it's just like so much happening. So, forgive me. I'm new to this. I'm not exactly a content creator. I don't know that I ever planned to be, but it was requested of me by a buddy that I give this a shot, and so I'm giving it a shot. These guys, you just want to stay cool. Again, stay cool, micro dodge the pattern. I didn't do a good job of it there, but that's what you want to do. These guys, I found that you don't get hit if you kind of just move left to right. It did not work that time, my whatever strategy I had devised for that, and I just got absolutely owned. But no worries, with 2 health bars, we still have tons of resources to beat this game. This guy, I time out. I've seen a couple replays where people bomb him, but I save all my bombs for the final stage. He's super annoying to fight. He shoots the shrimp at you. He shoots the yellow beam cannon. He shoots the red hella homing lasers that that wreck you. Every once in a while he'll stop and then he'll shoot 3 lasers pretty quickly close together like that. I just chill and move from right to left. I want him to kind of be on the other side of the screen as me, moving to the opposite direction that I'm moving until he times out. And by the way, just while we're in a little state of intermission here, there are different paths in this game. If you time the other bosses out, like I think there are 2 stages where if you time the bosses out, you get different stage order, you get different levels. Bomb here to get these health items. I think you have to bomb to get both of them. I don't see any other way to do it. And if you do, they give you a fair amount of health, as you can see. Anyway, there are multiple routes through this game. They are, I haven't seen any of them other than this one that I routed, but that's cool. It's neat that this game kind of has multiple pathways to go through. So now we're doing boss rush, all the bosses again, but more difficult this time. The spider, which I didn't even talk about in the first part of the game, is a little bit more difficult, but not too bad. You have to do a little bit more strafing as opposed to just sit in front of him. Then you got to kill these waves of little bugs. If you don't kill them quickly, they'll start unleashing bullets at you, so careful of that. There is a way to, if you just kind of sit up in the middle of the screen, you can pretty much kill all these little popcorn enemies before they fire at you, but it makes me nervous. Like sometimes it screwed me over by getting hit by one, so I just tend not to do it. Same strategy here as before, as in the first iteration of this boss. It's a little tougher to kind of dodge the carrots. They come at you a little faster. Carrots is what I call those little spears that are orange in the first part of the game, hence carrots. Okay, now with this, we're going to start to bomb again. Every boss from now on will bomb once, if not twice. Let me see. So right when he starts flashing green is when you want to start bombing, because any time before that, and your damage won't impact him. And then I did the same thing, as you can see. I just stayed cool. I micro dodged. It's obviously a little bit random because I think those globs he shoots at you are RNG, and you can get some nasty patterns sometimes. But he went down pretty easily with that bomb. Okay, I got caught in the corner there by the popcorn enemies. Okay, Moth again. I didn't talk about this boss, the strategy for it last time, but you just kind of, you got to sit below his nose and bomb him once, and then he'll stop shooting the spread pattern, and then it's just about hanging out on the left side of the wing until, and his hitbox is pretty big, so he goes down quick. All right, final boss. Shout out to Discord user, I want to say NMS, for helping me figure out that this boss has a time limit. It's like 1:30. If you take too long, he will just wreck you with an undodgeable laser. And I had made a save state on a particularly bad run where I'd taken too long, like late in the boss. I save stated, and I just kept getting hit by that laser over and over. It was so frustrating. Anyway, thank you, NMS. Okay, so this guy, you go up to the corners and you take out his first quadrants. He'll shoot a spread pattern at you, but if you're high enough up in the corner, it will miss you. And then from below, you can take out his other 2 quadrants, dodging these bubbles, and again, being careful not to take too long. Now I'll start shooting these line lasers at you. They're not like super hard to dodge or anything, but you just tend to get psyched out when you get this far in the game and like go too far to a corner and die. Now stay enough away from him to have his lasers fire at you when you're near the bottom or near the top of the screen. If you're on the sides, he's going to hit you because obviously since it's a vertical oriented screen, there's less room to get away from the lasers there. I did bomb him once to try and lessen the time I have to circle, and that's it. Geez, that was fast. That's crazy. I'll have to think of, like, I don't know, if there's ever a game that I care a lot about, I might like do a little bit more video editing and pause in certain places so I can talk more about it. That seemed like just a rapid fire gauntlet of blathering about whatever came to my mind at the time, but we're gonna roll with it. I appreciate you guys checking this out. I hope I brought some amount of interesting content to you about this pretty, again, underrated, underplayed little game. I think it's cool. It is fun. The hitbox is small. It feels good to play. The ship speed is nice. The rapid fire that's even built into the machine via the dip switch is like pretty fast, although I used external, which does help you kill bosses a little bit faster. What else do I gotta say? Oh, one thing I'll talk about is the arcade archives version. So I would love to have submitted my score to Arcade Archives, and I did buy the game on my Switch, but I found it to be particularly laggy, maybe even more so than other arcade archives titles that I have played. It's not unplayable, like it's doable, and I'm honestly thinking now that I know the game of going back to like try runs to get a score, because I think I could probably in the high score mode, like I think this score that I put up, like around 3.5 mil, would be somewhere in the range of like in the top 10. Again, probably just not a lot of people playing this. It's not that this score is particularly good. Scoring in the game is a little bit mysterious to me. It's mostly just killing enemies and maintaining your resources that cash out for points at the ends of levels. But yeah, I bet the PS4 version would be better. But MAME is how I played this, and it felt great in MAME. So yeah, we're about to the end here. So once again, thanks for watching, and see you later.